1 year ago this was the humble beginning of my multiplayer game dev adventure, and this is what the game looks like now. At the beginning there was a game called Ace of Spades, made by Jagex. It was a unique game that no one had seen before. It featured class system, modifiable environment, map editor and multiple game modes, sort of like Minecraft and Team Fortress 2 combined. But of course this game had its own set of problems. The biggest one being that it was killed by Jagex. Jagex shut down the servers about 10 years ago and didn't release server software for the community. This led to the fact that the community got angry and pissed off. You can see this on the countless messages on the Steam forums. Many were begging for Jagex to release the server software or hoping that someone would create a remake. For 10 years no one has been able to create a real successor to this masterpiece. That's where I come in. About a year back I had a lot of free time. I started to spend my time wisely. I thought instead of playing video games I could be creating them. This is where the idea to create a remake was born. I had created a prototype in high school which I open sourced later. Oh, and by the way, looking back at the prototype, the code is really bad. Everything in it sucks. It took me over a year of hard and consistent work to get the game into its current state. Because of this prototype, I thought the remake was going to be a simple and quick process. However, after a couple of months into the development, I started to find myself deeper and deeper in the rabbit hole. The longer I was developing, the more I realized how difficult this actually is. Some of the things I had to learn include Unity, how to write netcode and how to debug extremely difficult problems. And there barely is any information about the latter two anywhere, so it was very much fun to teach these things to myself. The first prototype was far from perfect. It barely had any features and there was a lot of room for improvement. But from day one I was committed to creating something great. I listened to feedback, worked tirelessly and made countless adjustments to bring the vision to life. One of the first milestones was getting the voxel destruction synchronized across clients. After that I worked on things such as adding a turret item and capture the flag game mode. Next we had our first big playtest and I received a lot of valuable feedback. However, looking back at this footage, the game looks like crap. Next important milestone was optimizing calculations of voxel structure collapse. Originally I had a very slow algorithm. Now I'm using a fast algorithm that links up voxels starting from the ground, so server only needs to check which voxels are linked to each other. And again I worked on some stuff and after that we had our second playtest. Looking back at this, the game still looks like crap even though there were great improvements made. I proceeded to create decals for shooting at blocks and players. This early system looked decent but was terribly inefficient. And I added reload animations which I fully removed later. I think the game is fun without them and they bring a lot of more work because you need to do animation and code additional systems. At the moment you only see reload text when you are reloading a weapon. I might add reload animations back in the future but I'm not too sure about that. I wouldn't count creating the reload animations as waste of time even though I removed them because it taught me something new. Next major milestone was rewriting all of the netcode and perfecting hit scan. Original netcode was really bad. How did I learn how to do this? I spent a lot of late nights debugging and studying other multiplayer games code. Finally everything started to click and my understanding of game networking got better rapidly. That brings us to the third playtest. This is when the game started to look good. Only thing I don't like in this version is the user interface, which is really bad but good for testing I guess. Third playtest was crucial for the rewritten netcode. With this test I got confirmation that the new netcode was working when there is many connected players. Then I proceeded to add drill gun, much similar to the one in the Steam version. I also did blueprint building, raids, landmines, rocket turret and reworked the whole UI. The UI rework took about a week or two. I first designed it and then implemented it in Unity. After some time we had our fourth playtest. This is when the game was starting to look really good and I realized that I was sitting on gold. I just need to get more eyes on the project. Playing in the map Mayan Jungle made the game feel like fast-paced battlefield game. After the fourth playtest, Nikita joined the project as a game designer. He works on things including sound effects, 3D modeling, UI art and testing. For example, he modeled the zombie model and class-specific player models. This was a huge improvement. Previously every class shared a single model created by me. Next I added the zombie mode. This was pretty simple since I didn't need to code much. I only had to code the game mode script. The zombie mode works similarly to the Steam version. After that I added a block gun and we had couple more playtests. I also have worked on character customization system, dynamic spread and dynamic fire rate. I also had some issues with random crashes and netcode, but they're all pretty much fixed now. Just recently I completed reworking part of the netcode yet again. I changed from fixed tick simulation at 40 times per second to a sub-tick system. This means inputs are sampled and simulated at frame rate. Sub-tick system solves a lot of problems. For example, this solves issue where other players were jittering while moving and gives flexibility to weapon fire rates. So the main cost is that it's gonna use more server resources. I recently set up the Steam page. Please wishlist the game. I also started streaming recently on Twitch, so you might want to come and say hi sometime. Now I'm going to talk about the long-term plans of the project. I would like to release the game on early access this year and possibly fully release it next year, so 2025 that is. Right now my hands are full of work. I need to code a bunch of stuff and do marketing. Right now marketing is crucial. With marketing I let people know about the project. If no one knows about the game, no one will buy the game and I will go bankrupt. There will be community servers as I have promised, so players can host their own servers as they wish, and I am also planning to add a great modding support.